The enemy is wicked, and he will show people different parts of you. Like, he will show people parts of you that you're struggling with anger issues. He will show people parts of you that you're struggling with lust. He will show people the hidden parts of you, the parts of you that you don't want people to see, the parts of you that you want hidden from the world. He will show that in order to get people to turn against you, in order to get God to turn against you. Like, this king is super audacious, but literally what he's doing mirrors what happens today, even in our age. Welcome to our Israelites once again, where we step into ancient stories with a modern heart. Hello friends, and welcome to part 2 of our Bible study. Our character list for today remains the same with our part 1. We have Balaam the prophet, who basically does things for his own gain. He's neither 100% faithful and he's not 100% evil. Basically, he's lukewarm. And we have the king of the Moabites, King Balak. He saw the children of Israel and he realized that these people are so powerful, they're unstoppable, and I want to sabotage them. So what he did was he wanted to sabotage them spiritually, not physically. So he's trying to enlist the help of Balaam to curse them. In part 1, we talked about how the king had sent for the prophet, and the prophet met with God, and God was like, don't go. And he told them, like, I can't go. But because in his mind, he loves to use the God-given power that he has for his own gain, he asked God again, and this time God was like, go. But we talked about how that was a permissive will of God and how God wasn't very excited about that, obviously. Balaam also had a near-death encounter when he was on his donkey on his way there, and that is basically where we stopped in part 1. So if you haven't watched part 1, you're kind of caught up, but I do want to encourage you to go back and actually, go through the scriptures, because that is how you would really be able to understand the scriptures, by going through it personally for yourself. All right, let's get into the Bible study, shall we? So in the beginning of part 2, we see the king heard that, okay, the prophet is on his way. Of course, he's happy because now I can finally get to curse these children of Israel. So he went out to go meet the prophet Balaam, and he said, why didn't you come to me as soon as I told you to come? Of course, he's a king. He likes to demand for answers. And he said, didn't you believe me when I said I will make you rich? Why did he have to say this? This is how we know that Balaam the prophet had a reputation. He had that reputation where he tends to go where the money leads, and this is why it's very dangerous to go where the money leads. So the prophet told him, okay, I'm here now, but whatever I say is gonna be what the Lord has told me to say. I can't say anything else. Why? Because I'm powerless to say anything else. Balak the king was like, okay, yeah, sure. Okay. Because they knew him. So the next morning, this is where we're going to start reading from. We're going to go to Numbers chapter 23, and we're going to read from verse 1. The scriptures are going to be displayed on the screen, so I encourage you to follow on with me, okay? Then Balaam, the prophet, said to King Balak, build me 7 altars here and prepare 7 young bulls and 7 rams for me to sacrifice. Balak followed his instructions, and 2 of them sacrificed a young bull and a ram on each altar. Then Balaam said to Balak, stand here by your burnt offerings, and I will go to see if the Lord will respond to me. Then I will tell you whatever he reveals to me. So Balaam went alone to the top of a bare hill, and God met him there. Balaam said to him, he's talking to God now, I have prepared 7 altars and have sacrificed a young bull and a ram on each altar. The Lord gave Balaam a message for King Balak. Then he said, go back to Balak and give him my message. So Balaam returned and found the king standing beside his burnt offerings with all the officials of Moab. This was the message Balaam delivered. So up until this point, what happened was when Balaam got there, when the prophet got there, Balak was like, all right, straight to business, let's get this done. So he took him somewhere, and when he got there, the prophet said, okay, it's time to sacrifice, because back in the days, they're all about sacrifices. Before you can even speak to God, you have to sacrifice something, which is why the gift of his son, Jesus Christ, was very important to us now. So what they did was that they had 7 altars. On each of the altars, they sacrificed 2 animals on there. And after sacrificing, the prophet told the king, yo, wait here. I'm going to go see what message the Lord has for everybody here. So they did that. When he went up, the Lord gave him a message. to go back and tell the king. Now, this is the first message. Numbers 23 verse 7. This was the message Balaam delivered. Balak summoned me to come from Aram. The king of Moab brought me from the eastern hills. Come, he said, curse Jacob for me. Come and announce Israel's doom. But how can I curse those whom God has not cursed? How can I condemn those whom the Lord has not condemned? I see them from the cliff tops. I watch them from the hills. I see a people who live by themselves, set apart from other nations. Who can count Jacob's descendants as numerous as dust? Who can count even a fourth of Israel's people? Let me die like the righteous. Let my life end like theirs. Then King Balak demanded of Balaam, what have you done to me? I brought you to curse my enemies. Instead, you have blessed them. But Balaam replied, I will speak only the message that the Lord puts in my mouth. What happened surprised the king, because after the prophet came back, he's expecting for the prophet to come and, lay all the curses on the people so that he can weaken them and he can go fight. But when he got down, he blessed them. This is always surprising. Most of the times, the enemies will hire people to put us in danger. But because the Lord is protecting us, what they get in return is that we're being blessed. And then they're so angry and they're surprised, like, how come this person is still being blessed? How come this person is still smiling after everything I've done to this person? How come this person is still happy after everything I'm trying to do to this person? Why is this person so protected? That was the plight of the king right there, because he was the enemy. So he told the prophet, what have you done, bro? Like, I brought you here for an assignment and you are not performing the assignment right now. So guess what the king did? The king said, okay, if you cannot curse them because you're seeing all of them, come, let me take you to a different place where you can see a portion of them. Maybe you can curse a portion of them. If you cannot curse everybody, at least you should be able to curse a portion of them. And that is how the enemy literally acts. Most of the time, when like the full picture of us, like when our full being intimidates the enemy, it looks for a portion of us that is not so secure, the portion of us that we have self-doubt. It looks for the portion of us where we're not so sure in ourselves and we're not so sure of God. So the enemy looks for that portion and tries to put us at a disadvantage with just a portion of ourselves. That's exactly what the king did. So what the king did was he took the prophet to a different point of view and he said, okay, this is just a portion of them. Now curse them for me. Prophet Balaam was like, okay, bet. And he said, let's build another altar. Like, we're going to build 7 more altars. So they were there and they built 7 more altars. I'm talking, look at the hard work that the enemy is going through. And this is not just in the olden days. Even up until this day, the enemy goes through so much pain and hard work to hurt us. But guess what? Whatever plan they're having for us, they will fall in their own ill plan. But just watch, keep watching, see what's gonna happen. So the prophet said, okay, we're gonna have to build like 7 more altars. And the king was like, bet. They built 7 more altars. They sacrificed 2 animals each on each altar. And the prophet was like, okay, I'm gonna go to God again and see what God has to say. The fact that he even like went to God again to find out more, like you can see how rooted the greed is inside of him. But he went back to God and he was like, okay, Lord, what do you have for me this time? And then the Lord gave another round of blessing. And guess what? The blessing for the second time was even more than the blessing of the first time. Like it was almost as if the blessing just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. The second blessing can be found in Numbers 23. We're going to read from verse 18. And it said, this was the message Balaam delivered. That is what God told him after he met with God the second time. Rise up, Balak, and listen. That's the king. Hear me, son of Zippor. God is not a man, so he does not lie. He is not human, so he does not change his mind. Has he ever spoken and failed to act? Has he ever promised and not carried it through? Listen, I received a command to bless. God has blessed and I cannot reverse it. No misfortune is in his plan for Jacob. No trouble is in his store for Israel. For the Lord their God is with them. He has been proclaimed their king. God brought them out of Egypt. For them, he is as strong as a wild ox. No curse can touch Jacob. No magic has any power against Israel. For now it will be said of Jacob, what wonders God has done for him. These people rise up like a lioness, like a majestic lion rousing itself. They refuse to rest until they have feasted on prey, drinking the blood of the slaughtered. Then Balak said to Balaam, fine, but if you won't curse them, at least don't bless them. But Balaam replied to Balak, didn't I tell you that I can do only what the Lord tells me? So the second blessing was even greater than the first one. At this time, the king was already frustrated and he was like, all right, stop. Like, I brought you here to curse them. If you can't curse them, at least don't bless them. And the prophet was trying to tell him like, yo, like my hands are tied. Like me being here shows you that I really want to do what you want me to do. But like my hands are tied. I can't do anything because the Lord has already blessed them. So the king was very relentless and he was not going to give up, and he was like, okay, you know what, let me take you somewhere else so you can see them in a different light. What? For the third time, I'm telling you, the enemy is dangerous, okay? Because the king was very relentless, he was like, I'm going to take it to a third point of view. You're going to see them. I promise you, these people can be cursed. At this point, for whatever reason, the enemy, the king, had it in his mind that he can, sacrifice his way into hurting the children of God. Make that make sense. So he was like, okay, prophet, let me take you to a third spot. This spot, you're really going to see them for who they are. And when you see them, perhaps it will please the Lord that you can curse them. The enemy is wicked and he will show people different parts of you. Like he will show people parts of you that you're struggling with anger issues. He will show people parts of you that you're struggling with lust. He will show people the hidden parts of you, the parts of you that you don't want people to see, the parts of you that you want hidden from the world. He will show that in order to get people to turn against you, in order to get God to turn against you. Like, this king is super audacious, but literally what he's doing mirrors what happens today, even in our age. So when he took the prophet to the third spot and he was like, oh, hey, look at them. Look at them. Now perhaps God will let you curse them. But at this point, the prophet finally had some sense. He didn't even bother going up to even go and ask God, Lord, do you want me to curse them this time? What he did was he uttered prophecy of praise. He blessed Israel. And after he finished everything, and if you want to check that out, is in Numbers chapter 24. Once you read that, you would understand exactly word for word what the prophet said about the children of Israel. When he was done speaking, or even before he was done speaking, the king was so upset and he clapped his hands and he was like, yo, stop. I told you to curse these people. You're not cursing them. Now you're over here blessing them. Get out of here. I don't want to see you, this and that. And the prophet was like, all right, bet. I'm going to go. But before I go, let me tell you something that's going to happen to you. So not only did he bless the children of Israel, he then told the king that brought him that, hey, this is how you're going to fail. This is how you're going to fall at the hand of the people you're trying to curse. And not just that, something else happened. The people who were with the king also got a dose of the stuff that was being dished out. In Numbers chapter 24, when you read, it basically talked about the prophet turned to this person and he said, you, this is how you're going to fail. You, this is how you're going to fail. You, this is how you're going to fail. This is why it's important to know that your association matters. Sometimes you might feel like, oh, I'm not personally trying to harm anybody. I'm just associating with the person who is trying to harm the child of God. Guess what? You're going to get burned too because you're playing with fire. Stop associating with wrong people. When you associate with someone who is trying to harm a child of God, you can get burnt from associating with them. So make sure you're not with the wrong people. I need you to go back and reflect, analyze your circle. Make sure the people that you're hanging out with are not the ones that wants to curse the children of Israel. And now, this is even the beautiful part. The part that struck me out the most was that the children of Israel did not know that any of this was happening. Talk about stand still and know that He is God. They were over there minding their business, just just living their life, and a king, an enemy, was over there building 21 altars, sacrificing bunch of animals just to see their downfall. But what happened at the end of it all? God still blessed them. God still uplifted them. Remember this, Israel is not perfect. The Israelites, oh my goodness, you need to go back and read about the Israelites. These people, they be wilding, but because they were the chosen people of God, and because God has already blessed them, who is he that can curse the one who God has blessed? So now, let that sink in for you as a child of God. Sometimes we see ourselves getting scared about other people because we feel like they have power, they're kings in high places. Just believe that when God is looking after you, these people cannot touch you. The enemy will keep trying, but guess what? They'll keep falling in all the traps that they have laid out for you. There's so many battles being won, even without you lifting up your fingers. Guess what? Sometimes you don't even know there's a battle being fought. The Lord is just fighting for you and you're holding your peace. What a wonderful time. What a wonderful feeling to be a child of God. If you're the type of person that you like using your God-given gift for the ill of others just so you can benefit financially, please stop. Because if you go down, like down in the book of Numbers, you realize that the prophet Balaam was killed eventually because the greed was just in his heart. Just because he escaped this one. And the reason why, honestly, I feel like the reason why he escaped was because, like when in part 1 we talked about when the angel was blocking his road, he realized then that this was a serious matter. But in some other situations, he would compromise. He was known for that. What is your reputation? Do people know you as a type of person that they can use to hurt others? Are you someone who uses the power that God has given to you to harm the widow, to harm the defenseless, to harm the orphans, to harm women, to harm men? If you're that kind of person, know that the day of reckoning is coming. I do want to encourage you to stop while you're ahead and make sure you go back and pray for repentance and ask God for forgiveness for all the sins. Yo, this is the end of Bible study for today. I enjoyed Bible study. I do love Bible study. And for those of you that are probably thinking like, Adesola, you're always doing Bible stories. Which one is Bible study again? Yes, Bible stories are important and I love Bible stories. However, Bible study is just as important and even more important because what happens in Bible study that doesn't really happen in Bible stories. In Bible stories, I tell you how it happens and I give you lessons. In Bible study, we read the scriptures for ourselves and we go through it. And as we read, I explain to you. So I've enjoyed today's Bible study. I hope you've enjoyed it as well. Until next time, I love you and God loves you more.